Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jae Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're excited to have Josh Oliver, the founder of Rhythmic Title Company. Based in Raleigh, North Carolina, a Rhythmic Title Company formed by merging Apex Title and Title Tech is revolutionizing the title insurance industry with proprietary systems and operations across 5 states. With over 20 years of combined experience, Josh and his team are streamlining real estate transactions for agents, lenders, and attorneys. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business empowers clients in the real estate space, and his vision for scaling this innovative venture. So let's dive right in. Josh, welcome to Founders Future.
Hey Jay, great to be here, man. And my goodness, with that kind of introduction, I feel like I'm looking around the room like, who's that guy?
Hey,
That's
well,
awesome, man. It's great to share some moments with you in this story, and I love your radio voice too, by the way.
I do appreciate that. I love being the host of the show. I get to talk to so many incredible people, and yourself included, have an incredible background. So truly excited to dive in for our listeners here. With that, Josh, take us back to the beginning, if you can. What specific problem in the title insurance or real estate transaction process really inspired you to start Rhythmic Title Company?
Yeah, so the story is actually all spawned from a what if conversation. And so I'm not a title guy. I didn't come from title. I didn't even really know what title was about a year and a half ago. But as fate would have it, I've been a serial entrepreneur my whole life, and I've been
Hmm.
involved in multiple industries. And I love the journey that I've been on. I love innovating. I love thinking about it from a different perspective. And fast forward through a lot of different iterations of that, I was down in Florida and belly up to the bar with my son's football coach.
Yep.
And we had seen each other, been around each other for quite some time. He's been coaching my son since first grade and just a brilliant guy. You can tell a lot about a guy by the way you treat your kids, right? And
Absolutely.
especially coaches them. And we had a chance to go to the national championship down at IMG Academy there in
Wow.
Bradenton. And so we were just belly up to the bar after a full day of football, and I knew he did title insurance, but I didn't. I never was like, oh yeah, I need to go get a title insurance policy for any
Right.
reason. And so we were just kind of watching the kids play in the water, and I was just like, hey man, tell me, Cody, tell me a little bit about this title insurance. And he's, oh man, you don't even want to know. And I was like, why not? There could be worse places for us to have a chat.
Right.
And so he proceeds to start telling me how he's been in title for 20 plus years. He's seen every side of the transaction, and but specifically in North Carolina where I live and where we live, it's done very differently than pretty much everywhere else in the country.
Ah.
And he starts describing to me all this manual minutia process,
Hmm.
this thing called the prior title game, this it's just this kind of wonky process. And I was like, there's no way that is how title is done in 2024. And he's, dude, I'm telling you, like this is a real thing. I was like, this sounds like there's something there. I was like,
Yeah.
so it started with a what if, and I was like, what if we could take away 98% of that from a data entry to a systems communication to technology innovation to working with underwriters to get more, I guess, conducive underwriting guidelines to best
Hmm.
serve the client to make it a more speedy, more accurate process. And he's, dude, he's, if you know a way to do that, let's do it. He's, I already know what we need to do. I just don't know how to get there.
Hmm.
And so the quickest way to explain what happened next was I immediately got on the phone. I got up off the bar. I started calling all of my, what I affectionately call my angry nerd friends, the
Yeah.
ones that are just like really great at technology. And I was like, hey guys, what about this? What about that? And man, we fast forwarded that for a few months, about 3 or 4 months, and bam, we got a product that is allowing us to turn title back to the closing attorney, which is the one that processes the title in North Carolina. It's an attorney state. And we're able to give title commitments back to them, title policies back to them in less than 5 minutes. And the traditional model was either a day, sometimes a whole week before they get finals back. And we can do, in some instances, we're able to turn title work back in the same day full finals and everything. So if you're doing a refi, if you're working with a refi company, title should never be the thing that hangs it up. So that just blew my mind. I was like, am I missing something here? Is it really this low of a hanging fruit? And as I started talking to people in the industry and started looking through things, I was like, look, what we're doing is not rocket science. It's just taking away the friction that has been in the space for so long. And there's no reason for there to be a whole room full of people typing on computers, right? Just doing data entry. You should just let these communication speak between software and allow it to be no fat finger errors, allow the speed of communication to go flying through it. And it makes it more accurate and definitely faster. So that's the origin in a nutshell. It took about 6 months to get built, and then we launched about 6 months ago, and it's took off like a rocket.
Incredible. And that's just a beautiful story from idea to inception to being built to being here now on the podcast, talking about it, seeing success. Obviously, we have so many listeners on the show, Josh, and some could be right there in that real estate agent, attorney realm and would want to come and work with you at Rhythmic. So, talk about the nuts and bolts of Rhythmic, exactly how you're generating revenue. I think we have a good idea. But the core offer there, is it just that title insurance and those closing services?
Yeah, so in North Carolina specifically, it's title only because the attorneys handle escrow and handle all of that for the closing process. And the insurance rates are set by the state. So it's a premium that's based on a calculation on the sale price of the home in business, not the business, but the home and the commercial property. But honestly, that part of it is pretty cut and dry, right? Where the model really works is a fundamental core value that we have, which is generosity.
Mm,
And if you provide a service in the market, everyone provides a service in the market, right? And then it's okay, so what if I'm willing to serve the people in that market?
mm,
Only one of those is a generous model. And so for us, we've chosen to live and to be authentic and be intentional about being generous with the partners that we have. And so when there is efficiency, then there creates more margin. And when there's more margin, then you need to be generous. And if everyone wins in that transaction, it's what I call an all shall prosper business model, then you're not trying to hit a home run on every single deal. You're building stability, you're building rapport, and you're building that trust and allowing people to understand that you're there with them in that journey because it's not just one transaction, it's hundreds of transactions. And together you can serve the client well. And if there's more revenue to be shared, then everyone has a dog in that fight. And there's not just one guy at the top making all the dough, right? And so I have a huge, I guess, calling in respect to saying, okay, let's change the way the game is done in terms of what our joint venture partners look like, what that partnerships look like. I had a meeting with a realtor the other day, and he was like, I'm making dozens of dollars on my title venture that I'm doing right now. And I'm like,
mhm.
dude, like dozens of dollars, that really moves the needle, right?
Yeah.
And so it's, hey, I get it. If your overhead costs are so high, then you can't share in the benefit of that. But if you optimize that, you bring in technology, you change the way the title is being produced, and it creates a generous model. And to me, generosity and authenticity will always win when it comes to building that revenue pipeline, right? And so for us, that became okay, number one, let's conquer the title space. But, and I'm getting into the weeds here, but out of that came another realization that like searching properties, became it was a very arduous task as well, which is not something that typically the title company did. It's something the attorney does or the paralegal does in North Carolina specifically. And I was like, what if we tackled that? What if we tackled that? Like 97 of the 100 counties in North Carolina are already online. What if, right? What if? And so, again, we talked to some of my affectionately termed friends from the Angry Nerd department, and also some great collaborations with people from the outside vendors as well, and said, hey, let's build something to allow us to do 30-year searches on properties in less than 4 hours, fully automated. and have an accuracy that's higher than if a human does it. And we're in beta on that right now, but it's officially launching July 1st, 2025. So whenever you're listening to this, that's Lord willing, it'll be live July 1st, 2025. But right now, we're well ahead of that. And we've had some attorneys been beating it up for the last couple of months. And it's going to be bulletproof by July 1st. So I'm excited about that. So that also in turn is another revenue generation point, but it also removes more friction from the closing attorney's perspective. And if we're giving quality of life back to that closing attorney and allowing them to save hours of time on their files, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I love it. So with that there, Justin, you are one of the first guests that I've had on the show in this realm. Very intriguing for what you've been able to do. And that's just the beauty of AI and technology and where we are today as a species to be able to achieve this type of success so quickly. Walk us through as far as the acquisition side. What does that look like for you specifically in this niche, Josh? Are you having to do any ads at all, or is it just more of the referral side, building relationships with those real estate agents and attorneys? Walk us through what the acquisition process for you looks like for clients in the space.
Correct. Yeah. So we're not a B2C, it's B2B. Ultimately, our customer is a closing attorney in North Carolina because they're the ones that order title. And for those that are listening that don't understand what title insurance is, which I didn't know 2 years ago, really, I know I bought it, but when I bought properties, but I didn't know what it really was. It basically ensures the fact that when you buy a property, that it's yours. And if anybody comes out after you saying, hey, that's mine, or it's on my property, or this, that, whatever, the title policy kicks in. It's a one-time fee that kicks in and saves you from a lot of heartburn and headache and potential loss of property down the road. So anyway, that's a quick, okay, that's title. But so for us, building that relationship with the closing attorney and making sure that they're served properly and have what they need back as fast and as seamless as possible, that's a win for them. They can't take part in the title premium. It's illegal for them to do that in North Carolina, so it's separated that way. Whereas in most other states in the country, it's very common that the title company is where you go to get your home closed. It's very rare you go to an attorney's office to get that closed. Usually a title company is lead on all of that. So it's a different model in North Carolina. So that's how we build the rapport is with those closing attorneys. And then subsequently, we started going out and building relationships with real estate agents because we can do a joint venture with them and share in the benefit of the premium. So it gives them more bang for their buck in terms of profit per file, which allows them to help streamline that customer's experience because they're going to get title back same day. They're not going to have any delays. They're going to have a proper coverage. That we also have a standard of having an enhanced policy, which gives you future coverage as opposed to just covering what's happened in the past. So all of those things from a real estate perspective, building rapport and trust and sharing in the premium with them, along with speed and accuracy from the closing attorney side. After that, it's just word of mouth. Just word of mouth.
So, I mean, with that, I mean, it really sounds like this is very word of mouth based. That's where you're going to see a lot of success, being that it has to be so at home and really putting the face to the name for Rhythmic. Is there anything that you can do around ads, or is that not even an avenue that you're exploring because of how personal it has to be?
Yeah, ads, SEO, Google, any kind of digital services, honestly, that's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm very active on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, just because I love to document the journey. It's not so much of me about trying to get leads. It's more about documenting the journey for me. And on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, even us having a website, those are all primarily just allowing us to stay in the conversation and help move our industry forward as a whole, not so much a lead generation. So for me, if we're participating in the community, we're bringing value to the community, and we're finding ways to serve our community, that's all the leads that we need.
I absolutely love that. So with that being said there, talk to us about a bottleneck that you're thinking about, even if there is one at all. Is there something you're thinking about for the growth side? I know you have more in the pipeline that you're building. What are you thinking about on a day-to-day for a bottleneck that you do have to solve to continue that growth and scale?
Obviously, bottleneck is going to be regulations,
Right.
right? Every state is different in its own way. We're licensed in multiple states now. We're already building out operations in Florida. We already have operations through our sister company in Apex out in Oklahoma and Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas. Those are abstract states, which is even more wonky than North Carolina is in terms of they go all the way back to statehood on every deal. So it's pretty intense. But no, I think regulations and making sure that we have everything streamlined via technology to be able to navigate through those regulations and understanding them well and asking the right questions. But the barrier of entry has always been, I guess, a wall for some people because they think that their other folks in the industry, title companies, are their competitors. And we've just taken a different approach. I'd rather be a collaborator in the space
Mm,
and say, hey, yes, we can produce title more efficiently than anybody that's in the state of North Carolina right now. Why don't we share that with other title companies?
mm.
And so now we're actually in conversations with multiple title companies that have been around for a long time and have a wonderful name and reputation, but their profitability is not that great because they're doing it a very manual process. And I'm like, that mentality of generosity is also to our collaboration, not our competitor, right? And so it's, hey, how do we honor your legacy as a company and honor the people that work there and the customers that you serve most efficiently? And we do it together. That's the best way to do it. And so now we have an onboarding happening right now with multiple title companies to where we're their white label
White label.
in the same state that we're technically competitors, but we're collaborating because we have the same mindset of serving the people well, honoring our existing relationships, and moving the industry forward.
Absolutely incredible. And that just goes to show to have that type of mindset, why that success is there and why you're continuously able to grow and build. Walk us through the big picture here, Josh. It's clear as day the passion that you have, the belief that you have, how intelligent you are to be continuously implementing these ideas and bringing them to market, and now partnering and collaborating with, as you mentioned, potential competitors and making them your partners. Incredible. So, walk us through the vision for the rest of the year. I know you have a big release here in July. What does the rest of the year look like for Rhythmic? Where are you trying to take this thing?
Man, honestly, by this time next year, I would love to solve the surveying issue as well, because surveying is a juggernaut in the industry right now that's not
Yeah,
typically done by a title company, but I'm getting feedback from a lot of attorneys and real estate agents that surveying is just an absolute monster in the Carolinas.
interesting.
And so I'm starting to divert some of our teams to think through that process because it's silly that people would buy the biggest expense of their life and not actually have it surveyed beforehand. But because there's such a bottleneck and backlog and the technology is not there and it's a very manual thing and all those things, right? There's not enough people. There's just a lot of reasons, but bypassing that to me is scary, right? But we can fix that, right? We just put our minds to it. We can fix that. So down the road, I could easily see us having a stack of services, which is title, search, now surveys. But then I'm already working on a collaborative approach with like-minded title companies in other states and other markets that we just finished wrapping up doing a great mastermind, I guess it would be the right way to put it, recently in Annapolis, Maryland. And there's a lot of brilliant companies nationwide that do amazing work from a title perspective. And I feel like we can really move the industry forward nationally by sharing and what we've learned and how we're applying it. And a lot of people in the insurance space or in the title world in particular are very apprehensive, I guess, to
Yeah,
technology.
yeah,
Even some of the more forward thinking people that we would assume would be all about it are still using Excel, right? And they're not even using a platform that they
yeah.
could be much more efficient. So just having conversations, thinking about it, starting small, saying, okay, how can we help automate at least one piece of the puzzle so that you can have a better shop down the road. So nationally is going to definitely be a big play for us over the next couple of years.
Incredible. With that, I want to take us into the lightning round here to close out the show, Josh. You've been just amazing hearing your journey so far. I can't wait to keep up with you. I know you're going to do some incredible things in the future here. On the lightning round side of things, Josh, what's a tool or a resource that you're using right now, whether it's a proprietary system, a strategy on the real estate side of things, an AI tool? I know there's a lot around that, but what's just been a real game changer for Rhythmic this far?
The obvious answer is AI,
Yeah.
right? We've
Yeah.
really leveraged that and have been working heavily with that. And it's a game changer for every industry. But ultimately, the AI only works if you have relationships. And so for me, the ability to pick up the phone and call people that maybe I hadn't even spoke to in 5 or 6 years,
Hmm.
but because we have a like mind, we're able to tackle big problems just like we just worked together yesterday, right? And so having relationships that are deep rooted that mean something is the best tool you could ever want when you're trying to start your business.
Incredible. And then just to finish off the show here, to wrap us up, what is a piece of advice, Josh, that you can offer to our listeners tuning in right now, other founders, entrepreneurs who want that success that you're seeing, just hit the ground running and have that passion that you have? What can you offer them before we wrap up?
I would say be authentic to who you are. Your personal development, your mental and spiritual development is the most important thing you could possibly do because that gives you the best advantage to be your best self. Then you go and you find the people that catch the same vision as you and you run hard. You can't wear all the hats. Like I would have had no idea how to get started in the title space if Cody hadn't been doing it for 20 years prior. And then Megan, and then Damon, and then Max just came on board as well. Like these are brilliant people that are experts in the space that they're in, and we're just going to run together and we're going to charge after it. Who you run with is so huge. And if they're not challenging you, and if you're not being challenged every day, then you're not pushing hard enough, right? So go and do things that you don't typically like to do so you know which ones that you do love to do and go after it, man. Make sure you understand what your why is. Make sure you make it count for every conversation that you have. You go out there and have perspective. Maintain the perspective that you might be in a cloudy situation. Just zoom out because a lot of times that's all you need to do to say, okay, is this really that important? Or should I just push through this? Or do I need to navigate a different direction? But maintain perspective and by and large, enjoy the journey, man. Live a great story. You can do it. It's a great thing.
I love it. I love it. With that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Josh, I can't thank you enough, man. Coming on the show, sharing that amazing journey and your insights with us. Again, clear as day with the passion you have. You're going to do some incredible things in the space, and we'll love to have you back on the show maybe in another 6 months to a year. Give us some good
Yeah.
updates. I want to see how
It's
we're
gonna be a
doing.
wild ride, bro. And I
Oh, it
appreciate
is.
it, Jay. Thank you so much for the invitation
Absolutely,
and
Josh.
looking forward to cheering you on and whatever you got going on too. So it's gonna
I
be good.
appreciate that. I appreciate it. And to our listeners as well, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Rhythmic Title Company at rhythmictitlecompany.com to learn more about their services and follow Josh on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Josh Oliver 34. For more resources and insights, visit closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.